Hello everyone. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how you can handle exceptions globally for Blazor WebAssembly applications. So whenever you get an exception in a Blazor application, your screen looks something like this, where you get light yellow bar which says an unhandled exception has occurred, and they also give you a reload link on click of which it might solve the problem. Most of the times it doesn't solve the problem. And if you're in development region, then you'll get stack trace in the browser console saying that this is where the exception has happened and this is the kind of exception has happened. And the stack trace changes once you push this application to production, but I don't want to show any stack trace to my end user. I don't want to expose any information to my production users. I don't want them to get into my system and hack my system. I don't want to expose any information to them. And instead of showing this light yellow bar with this link, I would like to show a nice message which will tell my user, oops, something has gone wrong. They should contact system administrator if it's a production region. If you're working in development region, then I would like to show, please check the logs. And you can see that I'm not showing anything in the stack trace anymore whenever we get the exception. Now you must be wondering, where are we storing logs then? We are storing logs in the database. I've covered this topic in the previous episode. The link of that episode is in this video's description. Now let's go ahead and see how our demo application is set up. For that, first I'm going to go to my Visual Studio, and here I'm going to run my application, and then I'm going to go to my browser and reload my application. Now here, I'm throwing exception in two different places. First exception is happening on the contacts page, and the second exception is happening on the settings page. I'm going to log into the system, and I have two pages, contacts and settings page. I'm going to click on contacts, and you can see that I'm getting this light yellow bar, which is asking me to reload the application, and then I'm getting stack trace in the browser console. If I go to let me clear this first. If I go to settings page, you can see that I'm getting another exception, which is saying that object reference is not set to an instance of an object. And it's also telling me where exactly this exception is happening. Now I'm gonna go to my database. You can see that I deleted all the logs before starting this episode. Now I'm gonna refresh my dataset, and you can see that the exceptions that were just thrown, they're getting logged in the database too. Now I'm gonna go to my VS Code here and show you where exactly I'm throwing those exceptions. I'm gonna go to my pages and go to my settings page here. Here on initialize of settings component, I'm gonna stop this application. On initialize of my settings component, I'm throwing an exception. So that's the exception that we're seeing on the settings page. And the second exception I'm throwing on the server project on the contacts controller. So whenever we're trying to get the contacts count, I'm throwing an exception, index out of range exception. So we would also like to handle this globally. So these are the two exceptions which are happening in my application, and I would like to handle them globally. For that, I'm going to need a parent component which could get wrapped around my application components. And then I can pass the parameters to my child components, and those child components can use the methods that I'm defining in the parent component to handle the exceptions globally. Let's do that. For that, I'm going to first create that parent component in the shared project. So I'm going to go to my shared folder, not project, and create a file, which is going to be Error.razor component. And like I said, this is going to be a parent component, and I would like to pass parameters. I would like to call methods of this parent component. So to pass parameters, we are going to use CascadingValue as component here. And CascadingValue will take a value parameter, which will be this. That means we would like to pass this whole component to our child components. Now, Like I said, this parent component is going to get wrapped around other application components. So we are going to need child content for this parent component. So let's go ahead and define a render fragment, which is going to be a parameter. So I'm going to create a parameter, which is going to be public. It's going to be render fragment, and I'm going to name it as child content. Now I'm gonna pass this child content in my cascading value here so that I could wrap my component around other components now. Now, this error component should also have a method, a global method, which could get called from anywhere. So let's define that method. We're not going to write anything in that method right now, but we are going to just write that method, which is going to be process error, which will be a global method which handles exceptions for us. So I'm going to add that method here. Now let's go ahead and wrap our whole application around this error components. So whenever our blazing application starts, the first component which gets rendered is our app.razor component. So we are going to wrap our error component with our app.razor component. So this is our whole application. You can see the router component and cascading authentication state component. So we would like to wrap the whole thing around error component. Now I can pass the parameters, which is actually the error component itself, to my child components. Let's go ahead and do that. For that, I'm going to go to my settings page here, and then I'm going to first get my error component as a cascading parameter. You can see that we already have a cascading parameter, which is authentication state. And the reason why we received this parameter is because we have wrapped a router around this cascading authentication state. And same thing we are going to do for this error component too. For that, I'm going to say we are going to receive another cascading parameter, which is going to be error component. And we would like to use this component in our child component now. Now I'm going to assume that I don't know where exactly this exception is happening. So I'm going to wrap my code around try and catch block. I'm going to put this in the try block, the whole code block. I'm going to put it in the try block here. And then whenever I catch this exception, then I would like to call error components process error method. That way I could catch this exception at the parent level. Now let's go ahead and handle this exception. We are logging our exceptions in the database. So we'll have to use the logger. If I go to my program.cs, in the previous episode, we added a provider, which is application logger provider, and it uses HTTP client to call server methods so that it could log errors in the database. So we are going to need to inject this logger in error component so that we could log errors from there. For that, first I'm going to need a using statement, which is going to be Microsoft extensions.logging so that I could inject ILogger in my component here, which is going to be of type error, and it's going to be named as _logger. Now I could use this logger and log errors, and I'm going to pass the exception which I'm receiving from the child component, and I'm going to pass an empty message. I don't really need that message, so I'm going to pass the empty message. Now the exception which is happening on the settings component is going to get caught on the parent component, and then I'm logging that exception in the database. Let's run this and see if that works or not. So I'm going to rerun my application and go to my application here and then reload my application. I'm going to log in Blazing Chat. And then if I go to my settings page, you can see that I'm not getting that yellow bar anymore, which I was getting because we are handling the exception now. And now if I go to my database, now I have 4 rows here. If I refresh this, you can see that I'm getting that exception. The 5th row is the exception that I'm getting, and it's getting logged in the database. So that's good news. Now we removed that yellow bar. So for user, there is no way to know if the exception is happening or not. So we would like to show a toast message, which will tell user that the exception is happening. For that, I added my favorite package made by Chris Sainty, which is Blazored.Toast. So I'm going to use this package to show the message. For that, I'm going to go to my error component, which is a parent component. And here I'm going to inject iToast service, and I'm going to name it as _toast service. And then I would like to show error before logging the error here. So I'm going to say _toast service and then show error. And here I'm going to say, oops, something has gone wrong. So that way our user knows that something did go wrong and they should be contacting someone, excuse me, contacting someone in order to figure out what went wrong. So I'm going to stop my application here and rerun it again. And then I'm going to go to my application again and rerun my application, log in into my application. And then if I go to my settings page, you can see that, oops, something has gone wrong. Please contact system administrator. Now, we would like to not show this error message in our browser console. But before that, I would like to show a different message to production users, to development environment actually. So whenever I go to the settings page, you can see that we are getting this exception, oops, something has gone wrong. Please contact system administrator. But if you're in development region, then I would like to say, please check logs. For that, you can inject IWebAssemblyHostEnvironment service here, and which will give you if you are in development region or production region. So let's go ahead and first try to do that, and then we'll hide the stack trace from the browser console. So to get hold of that web hosting environment service, I would like to add a package, which is going to be ASP.NET Core Components WebAssembly Hosting. And then I'm going to inject IWebHostEnvironment, and then I'm going to name it as WebHostEnvironment. And then I could use the service to figure out which environment we are in. So here I'm going to use an if statement, which is going to check web host environment is development. If it's not development, then we would like to show this please contact system admin. But if you are in development region, then we would like to show please check logs. Please check the logs, because developers are the admins, right? So I'm going to rerun my application here and then go to my application and then log in. And if I go to my settings page, you can see that, oops, something has gone wrong. Please check the logs, because we are in the development region. So this is how you can check if you are in development region or the production region. Now we would like to hide this browser console stack trace. For that, I'm gonna go to my program.cs, and here we are adding application logger provider as a logger provider, which is logging our exceptions in the database. We saw that here. So if I refresh this, you saw that we are logging these exceptions in the database. But ASP.NET Core also has its default loggers, and browser console is one of its default loggers. So you can clear those before adding your logger. You can clear the loggers which are given by ASP.NET Core. So I'm going to call login.clearProviders. And if you want to know more about this application logger and how you can log exceptions in the database, you can check the previous episode. The link is in the video description, like I mentioned before. Now let's rerun our application and see if we are logging anything in the browser console anymore or not. For that, I'm going to rerun my application and go to my application again. And now if I go to my settings page, you can see that we are just getting the toast message. We are not getting anything in the browser console. There is no way for my end user to know what's going on. Now we used this error component to handle exception for the settings component. Now let's see how easy it is to use this error component in other components. So we are also getting an exception on contacts component. We saw that when I started the episode. So let's handle that exception using the error component now. So I'm going to add error as cascading parameter here. I'm going to say we would like to get the error as cascading parameter. And I'm going to assume that this is where the exception is happening, wherever we are getting the count, contacts count. And then I would catch the exception. And then I'm going to use error cascading parameter and call process error and pass this exception here. And that's all you need to do in order to handle exceptions for other components. I'm going to rerun this again and go to my application and relog in. And now if I go to contacts page, you can see that there is a stack trace message, but it doesn't tell you a whole lot, and it's showing you the toast message too. And same thing is happening on the settings page too. Settings page does not show any stack message, but we are seeing the toast message here. So this is how you can handle exceptions globally for your Blazor application. If you have any questions, you can ask those questions in the comment section below, or you can reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.